Buying drums is an extremely daunting endeavor. This video should help you make a more informed decision when buying a drum set. Whether you're buying your first drum set or buying for a student, here's 10-ish minutes of things I wish I knew before buying drums. We're assuming you're buying from a music store or respected online retailer like Sweetwater.com or Zounds or Musician's Friend, something like that. The first thing to consider when buying a drum set is that they are made to be hit. So which drum set should you buy? Whichever ones will get used. There's two types of drum sets, acoustic and electric. As the name implies, acoustic drum sets create the sound by virtue of physics. Electric kits need an amplifier to project sound, or at least headphones. Some people create a hybrid kit using both, but we'll leave that for a future video. So some of the pros of acoustic kits is they're more natural feeling and they force proper technique to sound good. They're easier to fix when things go wrong, when, not if. The cons are they're loud, they have constant tuning and maintenance requirements, harder to change the sound, you need heads, you kind of have to build your kit. The electrics are quieter, they're quieter physical sound, better for respectful practicing. There's no tuning, minimal maintenance, easier to change the sound of the whole kit. They usually physically feel worse, they encourage improper technique, and when things break, it's a lot harder to fix them. With electric kits, you generally get what you pay for, so stick to Roland, Yamaha, Alesis, or Simmons. Pick something with a pad for an actual bass drum pedal, not just an electric pedal. Cheap is fine if you don't mind it breaking after a few years of steady practice. Otherwise, go big. Generally, you get what you pay for, and they're usually all-inclusive minus an amp or headphones. An electric drum set works by basically when you hit the electric pad, there's a switch inside that it's called a piezo transducer. That piezo transducer sends a signal to the brain. The brain then plays a pre-recorded sample, and it sends it out to your amplifier or your headphones, depending on what your setup is. So, if the piezo transducer dies, you can't fix that as easily because they're super cheap, but they're usually embedded in the drum. Some of the higher end kits, you can buy replacements for them, and you can fix some of the higher end kits. But the lower end electronic kits, entry level electronic kits, when something breaks, it basically breaks. So the benefit of the electric kits is that it's all there. If you buy it brand new, it's all right there. You should just plug in some headphones or plug it into a speaker, a guitar amp, whatever, and you're good to go. You still have to put it together, but acoustic kit, generally you build it in pieces. So for acoustic kits, it's a bit more involved. There's three main components to a drum set. There's the cymbals and effects, there's hardware and pedals, and then the drums themselves. So starting with the drums themselves, I personally stick to the well-established and respected names in the industry. Brands like Ludwig, Pearl, Gretsch, Yamaha, Tama, just to name a few of my favorites. There's a lot of great ones out there. All of them offer entry-level shell packs like the Gretsch Catalina Maple line or the Ludwig Accent series or Pearl Forum series, and most have hardware packs that come with them too. You'll get the most bang for your buck going this route. Pearl usually also offers packs with cymbals too, although they're usually only good for a few months before they start cracking, and they do not sound great. But, to start off with, it's fine. So let's talk about cymbals now. There's as many cymbal options as there are drums. Again, I like to stick to the name brands, Sabian, Zildjian, Meinl, Pasty, to name a few. They also usually have sets to save with the guesswork. Look for something that has hi-hats, a ride, and a crash to start with. Everything else can be added one piece at a time. It's not that big a deal. There's basically two tiers of cymbals from the bigger manufacturers, and the cheaper cymbals sound that way, but they'll hold up to some practice abuse. The expensive ones sound and feel better, but they're unnecessary for at-home practice. They're also usually thinner, so they break easier. So you want to, balance that out. Sabian used to do a mega pack of B8 cymbals with like 10 pieces, and that was a great value. But they didn't sound amazing, they didn't last long. It was perfectly fine for like a teenage kid in a garage band, metal band, but after some time, I eventually upgraded to the HHX Evo line from Sabian. There's a big difference. The cymbals are can really help you fine tune the particular flavor of your sound. So now for the hardware. The snare drum needs a basket. The hi-hat cymbals need a hi-hat stand. The bass drum needs a pedal. Every other cymbal needs a stand to hold it up. That's basically it. The rest of the drums usually have their own mounting apparatus. So the toms, for entry-level kits, they usually mount to the bass drum. The floor tom has its own legs. That all comes with it. Most drum manufacturers sell hardware too. So picking a pack where it's all together will really solve that headache, but you can piece it together. Probably the most efficient way to do it would be to find a drum manufacturer where you can get the drums and the hardware together. And then buy a cymbal pack to go on top of the stands. And then there you go. Just do yourself a favor and stay away from any Amazon deals. They're usually garbage. Now, let's assume you're not buying new, or you need to keep the budget as low as possible. Facebook Marketplace, great place to find a good deal on a whole used kit. I can't tell you how many times I found whole drum sets where someone's like, I'm looking to upgrade, just sell the whole kit. I'm rebuilding a whole new kit, and you get everything. Great deals on them too. For a couple $100 you can get the whole kit and caboodle. It's not bad. Reverb is basically eBay for musicians. Of course, there's Craigslist or eBay. Those are options too. There's tons of forgotten instruments in need of a new loving home. So consider asking around your church or other community groups, sports groups. Chances are you know someone who knows a drummer willing to sell a used kit to help a new player. If you go this route, prepare to change a few heads and clean some dust. Avoid anything with water damage. Full stop. But this can be a great learning experience for new drummers as well. This is where I highly recommend staying name brand. There's tons of budget or off-brand junk cluttering the market, and if you're unsure, just search the manufacturer. If they've been around since before the turn of the century and they're still in business, chances are you're going to be okay. But at the end of the day, percussion is all about how you hit the thing, not what you're hitting. So, get what you can justifiably afford, get it set up in a comfortable way, and just get to hitting. You can't go wrong. As long as you're hitting it, you'll figure it out. So hopefully this video helps and helps you make some sense of the drumming world and helps you make an informed decision on buying your first drum set.